Okay, my name's Zakashi, guys. In this video here, we're going to be hitting the tier list, and I feel like a lot of people's tier lists are going to be very different. But of course, I'm going to stand behind my tier list and my thoughts on who I think are the top 10 units in Dragon Ball Legends. So we got this tier list here. We got the God rank, the Z tier, the S tier, tier 1, tier 2. But we're only going to be tier listing the top 10 units. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort out the units that are relevant, and then I'm going to work from there to make my top 10 list, working from 1 all the way down to 10. And I might have some honorable mentions if I feel like it. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video, man. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 50,000 subscribers. And yeah, man, I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. Let's get into the video now. I had you there. We got to shout out my boy Dingy, because he's the one that makes the tier list for everybody to use. Every single content creator that you see that does a tier list on the top 10 units, if not me, they use his tier list. So shout out to him, man, for making this, because nobody would be able to do this if it wasn't for him. So shout out to Dingy, man. Wingy, DNGE_YT. Follow him on Twitter, man. He's pushing up from 2,000 followers, so give him a follow for sure. And subscribe to his YouTube channel. I think he's trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, so that's another thing as well. So yeah, let's actually get into the video now. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is just drag up units to like S tier or tier 1 that I think are relevant. So at this point, it doesn't really matter the order. We're just moving people up. So relevant. I think we're good. Even if I forget anybody, I'll probably grab them later. But for the most part, these are going to be the units that we're going to be deciding from. Some of these I just dragged them up to make somebody watching the video happy. They're not going to get thought about at all, but maybe you're happy for the moment because you think they're relevant. Yeah, I'm going to decide from these lot. I don't know how many there is, but let's get into the top 10 list now, for real. Alright, so cool. Like I said at the start of this video, this is probably going to be a very controversial list, and probably most people are going to disagree with a lot of things. People will have very personal opinions, but I will actually say that the top 4 is going to be very like interchangeable. I feel like everybody's going to have a different one. If a lot of people line up, then that's cool. If my one's different, that's also cool. But I think for the most part, people are open-minded enough to know that the top 4 can have any different order. And if you don't know who I'm talking about when I say top 4, yeah, this is like the main lot in Blue Lock. We got the Ultras. The Ultras, they got the biggest bags in the game. Where's Ultra Kid Boo's not here? Did I drag him up? Okay, I thought he wasn't there. I was about to say, where's the other one? That boy Black. So these are the 4 Ultras, right? These are the 4 Ultras that are currently dominating the game. And if you have none of these, you should just quit the game. I'm not gonna lie. Go download Dokkan Battle. Try and get you a little LR. If you can't get an LR, just go for the URs, bruh. You know what? Just don't play a Dragon Ball mobile game at this point, because if you don't have one of these, you're literally not gonna have any fun in PvP. This is actually insane. These 4 here, you need one. You actually need one. You actually need 2 if we're being for real. That's how OP they are, bro. These 4 are gonna be the very large interchangeables, right? I'm gonna put my order, then I'm gonna give my explanation afterwards. No, I'll explain first so people don't jump the gun. Yeah, I'm gonna go to this tweet, right, that Dingy made. Dingy made this tweet. Let me even zoom in so you can see it perfectly clear. He said, all the current Ultra units have an argument for number 1. I 100% agree with that, and I don't think you shouldn't. I personally don't think there is a clear, obvious choice, meaning that whoever you put as number 1, it's fine, because it makes a lot of sense. Cool. This is where I come in, because really and truly, people are just going to be having debates to have debates. Legends and Dokkan fans, we just like arguing. You know? People just want to be right. People want to make the hot take. People want to have the most popular opinion. People say stupid things to get attention sometimes. That's how we are, man. Let's not disregard that. So for the sake of a debate, this is the only reason why you'd be literally discriminating a unit over another unit, which is also why we've seen some wild takes in the past. So I said, I agree each unit has a unit they can beat. However, for the sake of a debate, we can eliminate like this. I personally think the best way to find the best unit in the game would be to go by process of elimination by other factors that aren't their individual kits necessarily. Because I feel like you could make so many arguments for how UKB could be the best unit. His green is so fast, the endurance, Rose, 3 ultimates, UGB, his counter is futile. This guy's time skip, you know, is the most damage in the game. You can make an argument for any of them. So I'm not even gonna dive in heavily to their kit, because really and truly, they all have their pluses. I don't think one person's kit overly dramatically clears another person's kit, so it's not the end of the world. So the process of elimination I'm going to work on would be who does the best job of surviving at a disadvantage. Who eliminates the unit that advantageous over better, team synergy, and usage in the meta. The only reason I'm using usage, and I feel like a lot of people don't like using popularity or usage, I feel like it's a very good actual category to base things off, because I'm sure you guys all remember when Beast Gohan came out, Future Gohan was not a top 3 unit individually, and there was a lot of units in the game that had a better kit than him. However, because Future Gohan was on a team that was so valuable, Beast Gohan and Pan, he was undisputed a top 3 unit, and if you argued against it, you're actually just nonsensical, because you're just gonna see him every game, and just doing that, like, you just be trying to be different, let's be honest. So popularity is a big measure, because if people are using the unit, we have to be honest, they're gonna be good, and there's a reason for it. Regardless of if a unit is better in your opinion and they're not being used, that's just the case. That's how the game works. The meta is about what you're seeing, what's being used, not necessarily just who's better. The value that they have in the game also matters. Cool, so let's actually go into building the list. Off that, what I've actually done is, so if we go by the first thing, right, who does the best job at surviving at a disadvantage? And in my opinion, I've actually dumbed that down to the best 2 being UGB and Kid BUU. Kid BUU has endurance, so he's going to be solid. His color yellow is not really that big of a deal, to be honest. The only one advantageous is hit. With UGB, the only one advantageous is Kid BUU. Everybody's disadvantageous to somebody besides from hit, because he's red. Hit, probably, I think openly everybody can agree, he's probably the weakest unit out of the 4. Cool. So for Kid BUU, UGB's gauge just makes him pretty much unkillable. Kid BUU has a lot of healing. Rose does too, and hit probably the least, but he still has healing too. But I think for sure, because of the endurance factor here and his gauge with the fact that he has good equips that keep him healthy, it's probably going to be one of these 2 that survive the best when they're fighting somebody that's red or fighting somebody that's yellow. I'd personally go UGB, but I'm going to put it between those 2. So right now, hit and Rose are down. Let's move to the next point. Who eliminates the unit that advantageous over better? Now, the one thing, if we're debating these 4, I've already noticed is that Rose isn't advantageous over anybody. He doesn't have a type advantage over the top 4 Ultras. If we look at it this way, Ultra GB is type advantage over Rose, Kid BUU is type advantage over GB, and then hit is type advantage over this one here. But Rose isn't type advantage over anybody. So for him, literally, he has the lower odds if we're working off element. Again, I'm not arguing kit, because again, they can all neg each other in different areas. Cool, let's move on. Team synergy, I think without a doubt it goes to these 2 up here. I might go Rose right now because of how good his teams are. God Key is not the best, but he does have movies. He can fit on pretty much any other team as well, like the same with all of them, to be honest. But I think future and powerful opponent for Rose is better. So I think Rose gets the odds on the teams. And then over here, the usage in the meta, I think no matter how you look at it, UGB is the most used. He's just glazed to a high degree. Like, it's unreasonable how glazed he is. Like, even if you don't think he's actually the best in the game, people still use him the most, and there's nothing you can do about it. He's the most predominant unit here, and people just love sucking him off. Even though he might not actually be the best unit in the game, you're going to see him the most, so his value is extremely high. You don't hear people necessarily asking, when is hit going to rerun? But hit is cold as hell. But really and truly, you're going to hear people always say, when the UGB going to rerun? Because that will get people to actually summon ASAP. Because he's just glazed to a maximum degree. It's undeniable, pretty much. Cool. Let's go back to the tier list now. We can actually start cooking. What I've actually worked out, in my opinion, I think if we're going to ignore anything of the weakest elements here, I think the weakest thing is technically the usage thing. If out of all of these guys, hit is used the least because most people, less people summon for him. So if we're going to ignore that, usage doesn't really mean crap. If we're being honest, it does, but it doesn't. I did argue for it, but I think we should negate it for the sake. Because if people had hit, he's a threat. He's not disadvantaged to anybody. He's advantageous over Kid BUU. So I feel like he has the most value. He can do the most damage. I think he's very solid for that degree. In the same way everybody can violate everybody here, he just has the easiest time here. In argument for that sake, I'm going to have Rose at 4th, only because he has to work a little bit harder to be advantageous over these guys. And that is actually a tough thing to go against. It's just the truth. He's not advantageous over anybody. He's a victim to UGB because of color. Not to say that Rose can't be UGB, but I'm basing it off literal factors of his kit and what's on paper with the element. It's just the truth. And then in the middle, we're going to put Kid BUU and UGB. Now, I feel like UGB has better teams, but Kid BUU is actually very, very solid, and his endurance factor is nice. He also has a very annoying green. He can get his vanish back too. If he had type advantage, I'd 100% put him above, but I feel like these two are interchangeable. Rose, I could have an argument for being first, but again, for the reasons I gave, I'm going to put him fourth. I got UGB at third, and I'm going to put Kid BUU at 2. If you wanted to put UGB second, that's fine as well, but I'm going to do this. I don't think there's an issue with this, especially if you've got Kid BUU high stars, same way with everybody else. Hit being superior because of his element, his kit, the most damaging unit here in my opinion, very, very effective. UGB, he's hanging on only because he's type advantage over this guy. Change this guy's element, he'd literally go down, in my opinion. Kid BUU, I feel like he's a very fast rated unit, and his endurance factor and being able to cancel out the fact that he can get rushed and like have his endurance cancelled out is a big thing why he's over. If you could rush this guy and just nullify his endurance, I'd actually put UGB above. But for that factor, I'm going to keep him above. Type neutral isn't as favorable as, in this case, out of these 4, it's not as favorable as it needs to be, you know? That's just how I see it anyways. So that's my top 4. I think I'm going to leave it like that. And I see people disagreeing, but I feel for my reasons, it makes a bit of sense. Cool. We're going to move to the lower half now, so the bottom 6. We're going to do the bottom 6. I'm going to drag up some big contenders in my opinion, and then we'll move from there. I'm going to move up Cell. I'm going to move up Zamasu. We got to move up 6 people. I'm going to move up Forku. Where is he? I'm going to move up Tag 4s. I'm going to move up Beast Gohan. I'm going to move up 17. That's already 6. I'm going to move up Pan as well. Cool. I think that's it. I think the last 6 is going to be based off these 2. These 7. I don't know who's going to make the bottom slot, but this list is going to be insane. I think because of the powerful opponent synergy, people might not agree, but I'm going to move these guys down so I can just focus on the main 2 that I want to talk about. One of these 2 is going next. I'm not going to lie. Zamasu shouldn't be as valuable as he is, but he's just everywhere. You know, I don't feel like Zamasu's as strong as he once was, but he's actually everywhere. But then I've been seeing Cell with the regen stonks. The regen stonks are just I don't know how Kid BUU done it. I actually don't know how Kid BUU done it. But Cell actually pushed all the way to the moon. I actually don't know how he done it. Zamasu too. I don't know how they done it. I actually don't know. If you look at the number 1 player right now, the top 5 players, probably 3 of them are using Cell. I don't know how they done it. But their stocks are up. But what I want to say is that these 2 here, they're not actually worse, but they're used a lot less. They're always going to be next to each other though, and I'm always going to, I think 4Q is always better than Tag Force, which should be understood. Do I want to put Cell top 5? He's not in the God Tier section, but do I want to put Cell top 5? Do I want to put Zamasu top 5? Do I want to move the 4s above them? This is a hard part, man. This is a hard part. But I think, honestly, I'm going to. Like, I'm literally going to leave it like this. I'm going to leave it like Cell. I'm going to leave it like Zamasu. I'm going to put the 4s. Then after this, do I want to value support so high? And I think I'm going to, actually. I think I'm going to. These assist units, you'll see them a lot. I think I'll move Pan over 17 though. 17 is so awkward, but he works. But do I want to put him over any of these units? So let me just move some people up, right? For like discussion purposes. No, these guys ain't nowhere to be seen. Let's keep it a stack. 17. Oh, I forgot about him. Wild. Wild push. 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 Okay, let me do this. Tag 4s, I'm gonna have to squash you out because 4Q is actually like that. Tag 4s, I'm gonna squash you out. 4Q is actually like that. Cell's actually like that too. 17 or Zamasu. This list is wild. This list, I'm not confident with it right now. Something needs to move. There's something missing. I'm trying to think about what it is. I don't know what's missing. It feels like there's something that should be right above 4Q and Tag 4s. There should be something else below Rose that leads Z tier, and I don't know what it is. 17 is better than Zamasu. He's already ahead. I've already pushed him ahead. But I don't know how fond I am of 17 over Cell. Cell is a brick wall, bro. I think I'm actually gonna go top 5 Cell. I'm gonna keep the 4s one below Cell, not because they're bad, but you literally see them less. Then the blues come in 17 and Zamasu. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we gotta decide for one more unit to make the 10th spot. We actually have to make the 10th spot. And I think I'm stuck between these three. BUU Bros ain't making the cut, man. They don't have it. They don't have any good teams. They don't fit anywhere. These three, even these two. No, these three. 17, Beast, and Pan. Do I want to move Beast Gohan out? I don't think I should. I think he's on the edge. But I feel like if you do move him out, I completely understand. But then again, you actually don't need Zamasu. I think this looks nice, actually. This looks pretty. This looks pretty. Having Beast at 9, people still like cling onto him. I think people cling onto him hard. Alright, let me reevaluate from the top. So the top 4, I'm not even gonna lock on it. Cell, he's a brick wall. Transformation unit. Defender of regen. He's actually a problem. The Tag 4s together, they're like best friends. If you have 4Q, you got Tag 4s. If you got Tag 4s, you got 4Q. They're locked in twin. They are family. 4Q is actually more valuable than the Tag 4s in my opinion, because he is the glue. Tag 4s are nice, but they can't do nothing without this guy on the team, in my opinion. They need him. He's the glue. He's the real glue for GT. When he got his Zenkai, their stocks went up. 17, Beast, Zamasu. These three are a mess. Individually, Beast is better than Zamasu, but Zamasu has better teams, so then I feel inclined to move back. 17's leader slot value is extremely high, so I still see him being up here. And then I want to consider Pan and 17 as well, Hellfire 17 in the top 10, but it's actually higher in my head. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm going to put like a section here. I'd understand if they was top 10. To finish off the list, yeah, let's start moving things out. Let me conclude this list. We got Hit number 1, we got Kid BUU number 2, we got Ultra Gogeta Blue number 3, we got Ultra Rose number 4. Then moving on to the rest, we got Cell number 5, we got the 4s 6, 4Q, Zenkai 4Q 6, Tag 4 7, 17 8, Zamasu 9, and Beast 10. And then we've got some support units. They're not literally support units, not all of them anyways, but they are like for their team support units in a sense. To conclude, let me order them as well. I think I'll have Pan first, 17 next, and then Future Gohan. Cool. I'm happy with that list. I'm actually happy with that list. I do think, again, just to repeat, because people obviously gonna have their own opinions, whoever your top 4 is, they're interchangeable. If you think UGB's first, that's cool. If you think Rose's first, that's cool. If you think Ultra Kid BUU's first, that's cool. But I gave my reasons and I'm gonna keep my reasons. Appreciate you guys for watching the video, man. Press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 50,000 subscribers. I wanna see how Ultra Kid BUU's gonna age. I think that's gonna be the difference on the list. Because a lot of people are, I think the big fact of him shaking up the game is that Ultra Gogeta Blue stocks go very far down because Ultra Kid BUU's yellow. And if he doesn't age well, that also won't age well. That's the last thing I'm gonna end on. I feel like Ultra Kid BUU is the very big determining factor for why lists are a certain way. But Ultra VB is gonna come out anyways. Press the subscribe button, My name's Zakashi, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, man.